This adult elk suddenly appeared on a busy highway, and despite the danger, stopped several fast-moving cars. It even voluntarily stuck its head inside a car. From time to time, it let out heart-wrenching cries. This frightened the passengers inside the vehicles. However, upon observation, it showed no intention of harming anyone. Even after stopping the cars, it did not actually hit them. Instead, it carefully rubbed its antlers and kept lowering its head, nodding toward the passengers. This series of strange behaviors seemed like a plea for help. Seeing the drivers ignore it and drive away, the elk wailed and prepared to stop another car. They say when animals block the road, there must be a reason. Two kind-hearted young men decided to follow the elk to investigate. Soon, they arrived at an open grassland. From a distance, they saw another elk, stretching its head, looking around. Upon closer inspection, they found the elk was trapped in the mud, unable to move. It turned out, the elk that stopped traffic earlier risked its life just to find humans to help rescue its companion. This truly proves that all living beings have intelligence. After that, the two young men quickly found a wooden stick. They wedged the thick stick under the elk's body. Using the principle of leverage, they tried to lift the trapped elk out of the mud pit. However, the elk was stuck too deep. Moreover, after struggling in the mud for so long, it resulted in only half of its body remaining above ground. This undoubtedly made the rescue operation much more difficult. Seeing the elk remain motionless, one of the young men had to step into the mud. He tried to grab the elk's skin and pull it up. However, the suction of the mud was too strong. During the process, not only did they fail to pull the moose's body out, but they also caused it to cry out in pain. Agitated, the moose struggled violently, accidentally breaking the wooden stick. Seeing this, the young man immediately threw away the broken stick. Both of them stepped forward and directly grabbed the moose's body, trying to pull it out of the mud with their bare hands. Unexpectedly, the moose suddenly became frightened, turned its head and tried to stab the young man with its antlers. Fortunately, the young man was quick and dodged in time. Otherwise, being hit by the antlers would have been extremely painful. However, the kind-hearted young man did not give up on the rescue. For safety reasons, they decided to continue using a long stick for assistance. But because the moose didn't trust the unfamiliar humans, it not only refused to cooperate with the rescue, but also occasionally turned its head to attack the young man. This caused the entire rescue attempt to come to a standstill. Moreover, while struggling, the moose sank deeper and deeper into the mud. Seeing that their approach wasn't working, the two young men decided to leave. When the moose saw its lifeline leaving, it became anxious and uneasy, frantically looking around for them. Fortunately, the young men had not given up. They had just temporarily left to retrieve a rope from their car. Then, they looped the rope around the moose's antlers. They planned to work together to pull it out of the mud. Although both young men were strong and in their prime, pulling out a fully grown moose weighing nearly 500 kilograms was no easy task. Additionally, they greatly underestimated the suction power of the mud. Even though the two young men exerted all their strength, the moose remained firmly stuck in the mud, completely motionless. The mud pool didn't seem deep, but its suction force was extremely strong. The thick, sticky mud inside was like an invisible hand, gripping the moose's entire body tightly. The more it struggled, the deeper it sank. Once trapped, without external help, with its own strength, it was nearly impossible to break free. If it weren't for the appearance of these two kind-hearted young men today, the moose's fate would have been sealed. It would have been buried in the mud. The two young men deeply understood this reality, so they kept searching for a better rescue method. From beginning to end, they never once thought about giving up on the trapped moose. They also didn't want to disappoint the helpless animal, which was desperately seeking help. Finally, one young man pulled the rope from the front, while the other used a wooden stick to pry at its body from behind. Although they failed again and again, they kept getting back up and trying once more. With each setback, they regained their determination and continued the rescue effort. Finally, when they were exhausted and out of breath, they managed to pull the moose free. At that moment, it seemed as though the moose understood their kind intentions. It realized that these kind-hearted humans were trying to save it. At the crucial moment, it began desperately moving its body to cooperate with the rescue. With the perfect cooperation of both sides, the moose that had been trapped for so long finally escaped the mud, regaining its freedom. Seeing the moose walk away safely, one of the young men laughed so hard, he snorted like a pig. Although the entire rescue process was incredibly difficult and exhausting, they felt that they had done something truly meaningful. A deep sense of accomplishment surged within them. Perhaps this is the most beautiful way for humans and animals to coexist in harmony. If you want to learn more interesting animal stories, you can visit my page for more videos.